All right, welcome back. We just finished discussing the new potential bill that's going to be passed in the House that's increasing the defense spending by $150 billion. And I want to come back on this time and have an open call to just find out essentially what people wanted to know, how they thought you could take advantage of it. But right now, they passed this reconciliation bill where they added an additional $150 billion for defense contracting, taking the defense budget up to $1 trillion. And so, again, I agreed to come back on and take calls, questions, and answers from people. So this is going to be a different session where you can come up here, ask your questions, figure out how you want to play a part in this. What's interesting about this bill is that under here, it says here the Army Secretary, and by the way, thank you, Tony, for this article, literally says it will be a success if the prime contractor dies on his watch, which is a very strong statement. And what does he mean by that? He means that, right? Hold on, I'll scroll down. It says that he wants to revamp the defense sector. Other Trump administration officials and GP lawmakers have suggested that new, smaller tech companies could be better positioned to change in threats, especially in key areas like artificial intelligence and software development. So this is a thing that I think is huge. And this is why, like I said, I'm bullish on what's happening. And I'm actually going to move up to DC so that I can participate in this process. Because truthfully, if they mean what they say and they want to get rid of some of the bigger companies where you've seen them threatening the Harvards, threatening the Deloitte and some of the management consulting firms, you saw them what they did with those guys, then it just makes sense that there is some truth behind it. And I want to participate in that process. And I also want to come advocate and lobby for myself. So today, this is going to be more of a Q&A style. And I'm very excited to get on here and talk with everyone. So looking forward to everything that questions, comments, concerns. What do you think about what's happening in the space? Are you excited for it? I know some people before, they called it BS. But again, for me, I welcome change. I'm not running away from change. Looking forward to what's happening. So at your request, I came back on and I said, we'll do a Q&A session so we could talk about this monstrous bill out here. So we're here now to talk about it. I can tell you personally, this is an area that I want to play in. The last time that they were doing the wall, I had an opportunity to start negotiating to work on the wall contract. And so I'm excited about this because, look, however you want to take it, right? I'm going to say this to everyone out here is everyone will talk trash about you no matter what you do. Whether you sit on the sideline and work with this administration, whether you work with this administration, whether you work on the wall, you don't work on the wall, no matter what you do, people are going to talk trash. So you might as well do the thing that's in the best interest for you to get paid. That's what I'm going to say. I'm telling you right now, I'm saying it. You're listening to me. I personally want to work on this contract. So I'm excited for this particular one. This is the one that gets me the most excited here. Okay. So this border security funding, I'm excited about this. I'm super stoked about modernization and defense acquisitions. Like I said, this is an area where I believe that a lot of you out here, smaller tech teams, will be able to take advantage of because they're now having these what call open solicitations, where there are essentially just rolling solicitations where they're looking for tech solutions and they're asking if anyone has any of these solutions. Essentially, just respond to us, and like I'll show you, it remains open in perpetuity. Do you see that? This is not a bid that you just turn around, you bid, you give your price, and you sit back and wait. They're open calls for tech companies, solutions, R&D, engineers, scientists, software programmers, smaller teams to come in and help our government. Now, we're back here to answer questions people have. So what questions do you guys have? By the way, first of all, let me know who you are. Tell me, put in their chat your name, what it is that you do, and then what questions you have. And I'll be happy to catch you guys back up on what I've been up to. So we'll do that for now. And then also, for those of you guys who just missed my presentation I just gave, I'll pull it back up. But what's interesting about it is that under this new plan, they also under the new plan, they're bringing back opportunity zones. And I love opportunity zones. Like I said, I got two of my friends that made money on opportunity zones last time around. So I love opportunity zones. I think they're wonderful. They remind me of the SBIC programs back in the days. I've told you guys about some of these SBIC programs. I told you guys about this book. If you're on LinkedIn, you saw me. I wrote about this book. This book, they leveraged SBA programs for this guy to build the first billion-dollar organization by a Black person back in the 90s, Reginald Lewis. And he used SBA's programs called SBIC, formerly known as MESBIC. I wish I could show you this screenshot here, but it literally used right here on page 81. They use programs called MESBIC programs, and he was able to use that program to help people learn how to do mergers and acquisition, and to help people of color, minority people, to do mergers and acquisition. Again, this is the book. I'm going to pull up the program. I'll show you the program. This is the program with the SBA. It's the same thing that's happening now. I just came off of 4 weeks of traveling, 4 weeks of speaking. And at 4 weeks, I literally talked about this on my road trips. This is not something that is new. This is part of my presentations. SBIC program. This is the program that, again, for me, this is the program that he used to build the first billion-dollar company. The name has changed. The program's still the same. It's no longer called Minority Enterprise SBIC. It's just called SBIC. They dropped the Minority Enterprise portion of, but it's the same in nature. The Opportunity Zone program is similar to that, where, again, two of my friends, the last time the administration was in, they got very, very, very wealthy through the Opportunity Zone program. So they're bringing that back. They're adding a border wall. They're adding $150 billion in defense spending, take it to $1 trillion. That's $150 billion that didn't exist before. Who out here would like to play with that? What's up, Gina? How are you? What's up, Teddy? All right, this is a Q&A session. I just closed out. So all my YouTube people, this is a Q&A session. Where are you at? What's going on, Teddy? What's going on, Gina? Okay. In fact, I'm going to invite, let me drop this in the chat. All right, cool. Yeah, no, I literally on my last presentations. Yes, I'm looking at that big bill that's coming out, and I'm very excited about it. I'll show you guys. This is the last presentation I just gave. Okay. So for the 20-something people watching, tell me who you are. What is it that you do? Tell me where you're from. And I would like to invite you to come up and ask questions. Let's talk about your business and see how we can solve it. All right. You said I'm super new. How do I get plugged in? So Gina, head over to the Federal Help Center. That's where we have 4,000 members in there where we talk about government contracting every day. If you are interested, right here on the screen, govconeric.com/call, we'll do a free 15-minute assessment call to talk about what it is that your business does and how we think we can help, and also where you can suggest solutions for you to start working in this space. There's a lot of money out here. There's going to be training dollars. There's going to be dollars for manufacturing, reshoring. There's dollars for construction and management of military housing. So there's a lot of things happening out here that I think people are just, again, sitting back, putting their head in the sand. So hold on one second. I'm trying to put them on the slides. Yeah, we just did, like I said, we just came on and I just did a 30-minute talk about the new programs on my other channel. Okay, Ashley, welcome. In fact, this is a good time right now. So I'll just run through really quickly my slides again for those of you who might have missed that presentation. So they said you're new. So again, for anyone who's new, right? If you're new, I mean, when you're new, like, so I always tell people, if you're new, super new, then again, I recommend starting off just being inside the community and listening to some of the people in the community. So that's always my first recommendation. If you're new, then just join our community and listen to some of the people in the community and participate. That's something that a lot of people don't do, is they don't participate. So here's our free community at federalhelpcenter.com. I tell people just start there, right? So join the free community and you'll see here we've got events that are happening all the time, how to navigate, how to get started, what to do. We talk about there's different webinars. So if you're new, then that's where I encourage you to start. All right, Ashley, in terms of procurement. So there's a lot that's happening in terms of procurement, Ashley. And one of the things that I just brought up was here. So now, for the first time ever, the government is now looking for smaller tech teams. And with those smaller tech teams, you're going to be able to take them now to some of the federal agencies for solutions. So whereas before, where as a consultant, something called middleman, you were doing primarily like products, now you'll be able to take more specialized types of solutions to the government. And those are higher margin dollars. And also they are easier to go after because they're not requiring all of the traditional paperwork. This government is focused on reducing red tape. Keep that in mind. When you talk to people in this government, in this particular administration, they're focused on reducing red tape. So that is what they want. They're focused on American-made, American companies, American businesses, reduction of red tape. These are the things that you want to say. In fact, a buddy of mine, so going back, Ashley, to answer your question, Ashley Bryant, these are the areas where I would look at. So let's go, let me just show you kind of some buzzwords. So critical infrastructure. These are sectors that this is what they care about. So any type of solutions in critical infrastructure, these are areas that they're looking for, right? And then I guess going back to what was her name, Gina, infrastructure, AI, global 20, like those are all areas that, I mean, that's everything. Security, resilience, that's everything. So let me just give you this example, Gina. Where is it at? And Ashley, same thing. So here's an example of an open solicitation. What's up, Tabin? So here's an example for you, Ashley, and also Gina. So here's an example of an open solicitation where the government's looking for, it says here, active capability gaps within emission areas where they release the call for solutions. So these are the things that they're doing now that they were not doing before, that creates new opportunities for smaller teams, even single person teams, solopreneurs. You don't need to have active employees. They're just looking for solutions. So Gina, cyber, infrastructure, AI, those things are where is the calls are. Let me pull it up. All right, here you go. Digital capability contracting center of excellence. Open solicitation spans. Make it bigger for you guys. What I like about these is that it says they remain open in perpetuity until it's canceled. So that means, right, they don't have active close dates. So you're not in a hurry to go out there and try to solve for it. You can literally right now watch me plan for these things and go out and find people who have this, because this did not happen before. Notice what it says. They want to align with the DOD guidance, default approach to use commercial solution openings, solicitation authority, with award of other transactions when acquiring capabilities designed under the planning phase of software acquisition pathway. All that's to say is that they want to essentially start sole sourcing these types of things. This is all sole source. So again, going back, my friend Gina, here you go. This is what they're looking for: tactical equipment, ground-based systems, simulation training, instrumentation, supply chain, logistics, advanced manufacturing. And let me tell you what they're looking for: solution brief, a live pitch, and a solution proposal. That's it. You can do that. Ashley, you could do that. Everyone could do this. Everyone watching right now can go on and find people who have this type of technical capabilities. And yes, they have to be registered in SAM, but look what they're doing. They talk about iterative prototyping. So that means what? You do not have to have the whole thing built out. They want, this is a successful propulsion prototype, follow-on production prototype. So they're going to be working with you to take your research, to take your tech, prototype it to work with the government to issue you a contract to actually bring it to the forefront. So these are the kind of things that they were not doing before. This was only reserved for a few specialized groups. So this is what's exciting for me. This did not happen before. Okay. What else? What else? I literally came back on here just to help answer questions for people. Yeah, it gives everybody a chance. Exactly. That's why I'm excited about it. All right. We're good. All right, we're good. No questions. All right. Well, like I said, I came on here to talk to people, see if they had any questions about anything. I tell you, one of the things that, again, we're working on internally here is helping people. Again, we've got our first partner challenge coming up next week, helping people find partners, teaming partners, consultants, clients to do business with. We think it's super important now that at the very least, right, you team up with people that have capabilities. This is the biggest thing that a lot of minorities that we forget is we don't do a good job of teaming up with people who have the capabilities for the solutions. So that's something that we encourage everyone to do. I'm going to put on our information for people who may have questions afterwards because maybe they're shy about asking now. There's our number. There's our email on the screen. All right. So interesting that so that's a good question that you just asked, JJ. Well, all primes need to be on GSA schedule to get contracts once GSA takes over. So that's a very good question. In fact, GSA is not taken over. Let me just say that, right? GSA is not taken over. What they are trying to do is put certain contracts on GSA. But if you already understand the GSA program, GSA is already doing the majority of the IT purchasing right now as it is. So everyone will not be required to be on GSA. That's particularly for certain types of contract vehicles. But when you look at the math, they're already, first of all, let me just say this. That is an executive order. That has not been the law. And so what they're doing is they're looking at how that they can do some of these things that are being proposed, but they're not saying that everyone is going to be required to be on GSA. The last time that the government tried, like when GSA originally started, they were trying to buy all the IT through GSA. It didn't work well because GSA then became a monopoly and they stopped giving good service to all of the offices. So they went back and allowed certain provisions to allow certain offices and agencies who have the capabilities to buy their own IT to do that. And so we've already kind of been down this path. So this is just a repeat of history. But what you'll see will happen is those who have the capabilities will just carve out, right, those requirements for themselves, and they will be probably an uptick in some of the IT going onto GSA, but it won't be all 100% of everything will be on GSA. But I do want to show you something since you brought that up, because I think a lot of us don't understand this chart. I think this is an important chart to note. So this chart shows you that literally only 5% of contracts are on SAM.gov. And if you look here, JJ, at the bottom where it says task orders, a lot of those task order contracts are already GSA. But the most important part of that is that 50% of all of the government contracts are issued through task orders. So if you are working towards building a successful business in this space, eventually you're going to have to get on some task order contracts, vehicles, in order to secure the bag. Otherwise, you're just going to be nickel and diming and not really growing a business. Now, you can make money, and I know people who do $3, $4, $5 million a year. But if you want to actually start to build a business and hire a bunch of employees, you're going to have to get some task order contracts. And they're not hard. They're not hard to do. You can do them, but I just want you to see that so that you guys have some perspective that, like I said, a lot of stuff is already going that way. You're welcome. Is there a need for compliance testing, training for construction companies? I'm certified safety professional. Good question, Rick. Now, one of the things that I tell people is, so in this new bill, there is a lot of money for testing. I'll pull it up. So there's a lot of money in there for training under the new bill. So here's the bill. So, and this, by the way, it's 1,100 pages. So in here, I think it was Rick. You see this? So now, one thing that I always say when you sell to the government is, I know that we do very specific things. When you sell to the federal government, they buy what you sell, but not necessarily the way that you sell it. What does that mean? So here, you said you do, training, compliance training for construction companies, and you do certified safety professional, but you may want to get the type of training that the budget is looking for so that you're now prepared to receive some of the training dollars based on the new budgets. So everyone listening, if you're new, the first thing that we tell you to do is understand how the government buys. If you understand how the government buys, then you can position your company to be a government contractor. The problem that a lot of us have is that we don't understand how the government buys, so we can't position ourselves to be a contractor because we're boxing ourselves out. So now, Rick, if I were you, Rick, I'm not telling you what to do, but if I were you, okay, I would, according to this bill that they're proposing, I'm putting on the screen, Rick, this bill says they're going to give $250 million for the expansion of accelerated training in defense manufacturing program. Now, Rick, if I'm you and I'm watching this, I'm going to go figure out how to get certified for training for defense manufacturing. That's what I would get certified in. Okay. Now let's keep going. What else are they looking for training dollars in? $500 million for joint training team. Okay. That's not us. Okay. Let's see. Rehabilitation training program deferment. That's not us. Okay. State-based home energy efficiency contractor training grants. All right. So you see, this is the way that I look at these things. Law enforcement training, support of training, $285 million to support training of newly hired federal law enforcement personnel. You see, do you see that? Those are the things that I would focus on to get my training so that I could now align myself to the spending. You see how you could get ahead of the curve? One of the things that we've said, and we continue to say, is that understand how the government buys. If you don't understand how they buy, then it's hard for you to be responsive and to look like someone that they can essentially contract to you. So I'm not saying that your training doesn't matter, but I'm saying when it comes to the federal procurement side, this is the kind of training that they're going to be rewarding. And this is the kind of training that I would, as your coach, consultant, as a mentor, I would tell you to go out and figure out how you can get certified in that type of training. Because if you go out and you put your capability statement out and you say that, hey, I'm certified in defense manufacturing, then you're going to be aligned with the goals. For all the new people, if you've never seen this before, this is what we use. It's our action plan. So this is what we use to teach people from, right, how to get started and selling to the government. And so again, model your SBA profile for successful firms, organize past projects, identify opportunities that match, review for qualifications, identify top federal prime contractors. So these are the things that you want to do, is align yourself with where the dollars are flowing. Ashley, yes, the bill does. It tells you, it doesn't tell you when it says who. The bill is broken down into who they're going to be awarding the money to. And I'll show you the top. So it shows you the different committees. But here you go. Enhancement Department of Defense. military construction projects authorized. So Tavin, you were saying, how could construction trade kind of capitalize on this? So one of the things, Tavin, that I just brought up, they're going to be revamping a lot of the military housing. So they put in the budget military housing dollars, and so for me, I don't know why StreamYard keeps pulling down my shared screen. Tavin, you're already doing a lot of the right things. I mean, you're in with the right people. So you're already doing a lot of right things, but they're putting $8 billion in there for quality of life military housing. So for me, I can tell you what I've done. So there's two areas, Tavin, that for me are of particular interest is the military housing dollars and the wall. Those are two areas where I'm interested in this right here. So I'm interested in the $46 billion that got allocated to the wall and this $8 billion that they got for military housing, because I personally know that they've already in the past, what I would do, Tavin, is look up, they've already in the past complained about the poor quality of military housing. So you can already go back and find that where people have complained at, who's issuing contracts with military housing. And then so you can now figure out, okay, who's issuing those contracts, where they've been complaining at. And so you could talk about how your organization, because trades contractors, think about military housing, right? So I guarantee you there's mold issues in there. The ACs are probably outdated. I've talked about this in the past. Let's see if we can find it, Tab, real quick. TL report, military housing. Look. Here. Tab, right there. Look at that. It says some barracks pose serious health and safety risks as part of site visits selected. They observe a variety of living conditions that servicemen live stayed in, negative affecting their quality of life, such as sewage, overflow, mold, and mildew, and broken windows and locks. Their standards were not defined. Some barracks do not meet DOD standards. Right? So again, they make recommendations, September 19, or made in this report. So here you go. Look how easy. All I did was type in a search criteria and it pulled up right there. Yeah, Rafa, we already discussed facilities maintenance and infrastructure focus. So again, on the maintenance side, they're particularly here, they're talking about maintenance of the barracks, a lot of the military. So it goes into here in this particular section. They're going to be addressing that issue. That's in the additional $150 billion. Right? And address things like this, what we just pulled up on the screen. Correct, Ashley. Right. So then, Ashley, the same way that I did that search, you would go in and you could search then the agencies who are the ones procuring that. Rick, are my videos AI? No, we don't make AI. We don't have any AI videos. All my videos are regular training videos like this. Yeah, Rafa, there's so Rafa, the area that I'm excited about, which I'm already in talks here. So again, for those of you who don't know me, I did steel buildings. On the previous administration, I was supposed to work on the border wall, and then they didn't win. So, but now that they're going back and looking at doing border wall security funding, this is an area that I'm particularly have of interest in working on the border wall. So that's an area where I want to play in, as well as military housing. I've spoken to people in the past on that. But for those of you guys who are in tech, IT, there's stuff in here for you as well, like this particular defense acquisitions. We talked about some of the opportunities in that space in addition. What else? Anybody else? Cyber says, I provide training videos. I think I need a partner. I don't know how to create simulations yet. Okay. Well, look, come on in and see if you can find a partner in one of our different groups. That's the best thing I can recommend. All right, good stuff. Well, look, we are putting out some more content. Again, always our numbers, our contact information is inside the chat. If you want to reach out to us, excited to learn about what's happening. And for all of my DMV folks, looking forward to meeting with you guys. Looking forward to going to events and happy hours. My tentative move date is the first week of July, so I will be up in that area. So I'm excited. I can't wait to connect and grow that base of contractors out in the DC area, and we're excited. Legacy Rideshare, your residential contract in DC. Again, join Federal Help Center. That's one thing. If you need an assessment, govconeric.com/call right there. You can follow that link. We'll do a 15-minute assessment call with you, and we'll talk about you. And then for the event this year, we are looking at actually partnering with another organization. And instead of doing Miami, we are looking at doing it in Puerto Rico. So stay tuned for that. I'll give you guys more detail on what we're doing in Puerto Rico. All right. Well, I'll pop this real quick back up on the screen. For those of you that may have questions, here's our information. Call, email, visit us at federalhelpcenter.com. If there's nothing else, I will close out the call tonight. Thank you, everyone. Happy to connect with you. Happy to talk with you guys. Looking forward to seeing the what people do out there and seeing how you guys take advantage of it. And look forward to connecting with folks in DC and having some fun. I was actually at Capitol Hill. I'll show you this real quick before I close out. I literally, one of you, a nice, kind soul, invited me to Capitol Hill for the first time. So I got a chance to go to Capitol Hill. And there you go. So I got a chance to be there, be in a building where all the decisions are being made. So look for me being on the Hill more often, advocating for policies, advocating for programs that help small businesses. And like I've said before, the Opportunity Zone, the SBIC program, all of these things are designed to take you from where you're at to the next levels. If you miss the last time, I'll pull this back up on the screen for those of you who missed last time. But they're going to be doing a lot of manufacturing reshoring. The last time he did the Opportunity Zone program, it's one of my friends. He was able to raise $260 million in financing to help fund his business, where he lends out money to small businesses. This is him at my first conference in Miami. It's called OpZo, named conveniently after the Opportunity Zone program. So these opportunities, don't let people tell you that they don't exist and that people that look like you are not going to be able to get them. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I hear. You know me. I've been going against the grain for a long time. I've never pushed certifications until you were ready to get them, until you know what to do with them. But I believe, I'm hanging my hat that 2026 is going to be a big boom for 8A companies, because I could see that this particular, now that the 100 days has passed, all the budgets are in, we're getting sole source work, and they're going to have to find a way to get rid of all that money. So they're going to want to make it as easy as possible, as streamlined as possible. The words you want to use, again, no red tape. And now that the 8A program is open to everyone, doesn't matter. It's race neutral. I don't, I see them wanting to figure out how to leverage it. We've been doing really, really well, exceptionally well in the program. And Like I said, I'm working on some other things with some other organizations. That's why I support Tribal Edge Summit. That's why I spoke at a financial conference this past week. We talked about M&A. And if you missed it, please get this book. Do yourselves a favor. Get this book. All right. Get this book. Talks about the SBIC program. This book talks about defense acquisition. And again, how they can get better at combating all the foreign adversaries who are trying to fight against us. So lots and lots and lots of things out here. I mean, obviously, if you don't have my books, you should buy those two first. But, you know, like I said, I just want to share that. Thanks, guys. Have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Look forward to all of you seeing it at some point at some event along the way. Thank you so much. Good night.